This is the product that we've designed, Progest Liposome Cream. We do design progesterone cream for export, but not for Canada, because that's by prescription only. We buy the raw materials from the same source, but there is no progesterone in this. This is just soy isoflavone and the other components to help balance a woman's hormones without spiking the estrogen levels. This is very important. We're going to go to the thymus gland. The thymus gland, as we said before, collapses T cells, which that one component did. The thymus gland, the T in thymus is T cells. T cells are our body's immune defense. And you can see where it is. It's quite large when we're born, and as we grow to probably 12, 13, it starts to shrink. Here's a chart to give you better perspective. Now here you'll see the newborn. We have the medulla, the cortex, and the fat. And it's very healthy, they're growing, their immune system is strong, and a kid gets a cold, it's gone. He gets this, gone. I mean, maybe not today, but if everything else is in order, it would normally be that way. Their system would, because the thymus gland is so strong developing T cells. I used to use this for dealing with my AIDS patients. And of course, AIDS lowers your T cell count. So when we put them on the thymus, your T cell count would rise. Now, I pose a question to you because I just wondered now, if you take a 17-year-old's thymus gland and put that into a 50-year-old's, which is 85% fat, what would it be? What would happen? It'd be like stem cells for immunity. It's the most powerful, one of the most powerful products for immunity, and virtually unknown. Well, I raise our kids on thymus instead of having vaccines, because it keeps their immunities high. Anytime we travel, we take extra before we travel, or go in any groups, and when we come back, we take it. It knocks the cold out. If your partner doesn't take it, they'll be sick. You won't get sick. It just knocks it out. Thymus are very, very important. And again, it's the sourcing. We bring ours in from New Zealand land. And all our formulations that you see have managers with them. So they're delivered to the cells. So thymus needs the P5P. Because the P5P, if you recall the endocrine chart, it's the cortisone steroid hormone production. So in P5P, it's naturally occurring. It stimulates our body to create natural occurring corticosteroids. If you got a joint ache, what does the doctor always do? Let's give you a cortisone shot. And with zinc, thymic response. No zinc in your system, no immunity. We have no immunity. And yet, magnesium is the one that's in the least amount, what you need the most, and next is zinc. And because zinc doesn't get absorbed, it's not working for most people. It needs to be in a picolinate state. Zinc picolinate, because a picolinate is almost like Harry Potter with his cloak of invisibility. So they put that on, the zinc is covered, and it can pass through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream for absorption to cells. Zinc on its own, most of it passes through the body. That's why the immune system is so low. Again, this is about the fermentation process, how that works, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is to show tryptophan. So you remember the tryptophan. And the pineal gland. The pineal gland is we call it our third eye, our seventh chakra, and it is one of our most important glands in the body for treating our whole sleep cycle, our restoration cycle. It's for treating now, as they discovered, the gut-brain connection. Pineal gland is about the size of a little pea, very sensitive, and to produce serotonin, which is melatonin, the starting position is tryptophan. And well, we've produced one is called Melapure, and it's the purest on the market. It's USP, pharmaceutical grade. It starts with a starting position of L-tryptophan, and which is a known serotonin releaser. If you have a turkey dinner and you get tired after, it's the tryptophan in the turkey. Well, probably the drinks too might have something to do with it, but usually it's the tryptophan in the turkey that causes you to feel tired. And so what other forms of, as I said, we can get melatonin for less than $75 or $175 from China, but those are unknown synthetic sources or from animal origin. The pineal gland is too sensitive to stimulate that for serotonin release. What they're using is large amounts, even on children, that shuts down their own serotonin production, so they can't. So it shuts down their ability to sleep in this nature. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for them. And when we find that when we're giving out samples of melatonin at trade shows, public trade shows, they'll say, "I can't take that. I get muscle spasms. I clench my teeth, and I get horrible nightmares." I said, that has nothing to do with the melatonin. It's how the melatonin was sourced. Melatonin is naturally occurring in our bodies. It was not going to occur like that. And so it's the methylation pathway, as we showed before, and this is the pathway of serotonin. And as you see, tryptophan is the starting position to produce serotonin, which turns into melatonin. And then it comes down to the cycle. It'll be going 5-MHTH melatonin. Then it will come down. The straight pathway will be delivered to the cells without side effects. But if you're taking something else, you will go to some of these other channels, and you'll have the side effects because it needs to convert to its natural origin to get directly delivered to the cells. The product Melapure we've had several clinical studies specifically for Melapure. So this is for like preeclampsia. It's used for concussions. It's used for several other products. So it's very important. So Melapure is a pure patented U.S. pharmaceutical grade. You'll see that on our label. And here's an interesting study. I hope I'm not losing you, but I'd like to keep you on this study because you have to understand the whole process of what's going on. Now this is a study that was just recently, it was all over the news, so you may have seen it, but this shows how the effect of pharmaceutical drugs have on our gut. Now they used 1,000 drugs against 40 representatives of gut bacteria, and 1 in 4 drugs were causing an overgrowth of bacteria in the human gut. And these were similar effects as taking antibiotics. And there weren't antibiotics. These drugs were antipsychotic, proton pumps inhibitors, hormones, and anti-cancer. So when people are taking these things, like an antidepressant, and they're taking this and it's going into your gut, and it's creating an environment that's causing you to become depressed. So the very product you're taking to treat a disease condition is accelerating it through the gut. So it affects our mood and everything else. And here's how it affects it with the microbiome within the gut. The gut, and it affects our circulatory system, our digestive system, our neuroendocrine system, our brains, and our immune system from the gut. It's very important what we put into our bodies. That's what they say, it doesn't matter what you eat. I talked to a doctor a little while back, medical doctor. He says, well, what do you think about having these type of sugars? And he says, well, it doesn't matter. Your body can take care of whatever sugars, unless you have diabetes. That's their rationale. That's how they're trained. Take anything you want. Your body will deal with it until it doesn't. That's not proactive. That's not prevention. And here it is again. So when you have your stress, your toxins, your food, your drugs, your pathogens, affects your liver, and when that happens, your intestinal wall gets inflamed. When that gets inflamed, undigested proteins, all these pass through, into your bloodstream, causing further disease acceleration. We have designed a probiotic that is shelf-stable, human strain. The prebiotic that we have in it is inulin, so inulin does not feed the bad bacteria, whereas FOS can feed both the good and the bad. And it's blister packed. So the thing is, as soon as you open a bottle of probiotics, usually it'll oxidize right away. That's why most probiotics are sold in the fridge. Shelf-stable ones need to be protected from oxidation. And we use ours from modern strain bacteria. That's very important in modern strain because we're living in today's environment. Some are reporting that it's better to take something that is a strain from 20, 30 years ago when it was more pure. It's not going to fight the bacteria we have today. It has to be a modern strain. And if there is any calcium plaquing in your arteries, they'll bring that out. And they'll tell you, hey, you better go get a calcium score test. Then again, exercise daily. Drink at least 2 liters of purified water a day. 7.5 hours sleep minimum per day. We need that. Otherwise, we start to eat away at our body. And what matters is what we absorb to ourselves. The food we eat, the water we drink, and the medicines that we take. So they're not going to further compound our body without a side effect. And I firmly believe that all disease can be treated with natural medicine. As a natural fact, I do believe it is our only form of defense. So I hope that I've given this training, given you some information on how to remain healthy or how to regain your health. And thank you, and best of health to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. I'm hopeful that it wasn't too much because these kind of trainings are ready for the ND students in Canadian College of Natural Medicine and the Bouchard Institute in Vancouver. So Dr. Dahl is a brainiac, so he gives you so much that I feel like it's an avalanche. Hopefully you survive this, but if you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. Okay, please.
We've answered everything. Thank you.
And live long and prosper. So, if you have any questions, this is the time. Please.
You mentioned about the eating and bar. What is the best laboratory work that could be assessed that the person is having eating?
What is
like lab work or eating assessment that